the early power runes, get some plays going, snowball your game, get that Night Stalker online, and then you're just terrorizing the map. But I think that you need to find something in the early game.
Well, I was gonna say we're about to find out, but we're gonna go to a pause first instead. A little bit of an audio issue, it seems, for Mr. Lumpy. Gonna restart. But this is gonna be game number 1 of the South American Closed Qualifiers. Very excited to see how this is gonna go. But Infamous versus M80, a very young team versus a very experienced team on the side of M80, right? Like a lot of these people, especially players like Moose and K1, they have been around forever. Moose has got to be one of my favorite support players, I think, just in the Dota scene. He's just super wholesome, super nice guy, great voice to have on your team in terms of like shot calling and stuff like that. So we'll see how much of a difference that experience makes in this type of matchup.
Yeah, I mean, he'll definitely be able to do that. Enchantress is a hero who gets going quickly, right? Hopefully win your lane. At least you have a Terrorblade, so even if the lane doesn't go that well, Terrorblade can jungle pretty quickly, freeing up the Enchantress to go move around. So you get to not only direct your team, but actively participate in it. The one awkward part is that mid Magnus sometimes does just take some time to farm up. I would say like up to the Blink is where you kind of need to get to before it becomes easier to make plays with the Magnus. But I think that should be okay, because if Enchantress just goes to the Twin Gates, Clockwork Razor, like that's a really scary combo to just dive towers and get kills.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the facets right now. I'm a little bit surprised Hector went condemned for the minimum Sunder threshold. I think on the Dire side, you typically want the other facet because you don't have like extra mana regen to just like spam Reflection. So it'll be a little bit mana hungry through like the mid game and stuff, but it shouldn't be the end of the world. Ward drop here as they go for the long wraparound. They will see Hermit, and it is daytime still, since it is, of course, you know, Night Rain, Night Stalker, so that nighttime cycle reversed, and Hermit, he'll get that bonus movement speed in just a couple of seconds. He should be okay. Monty with a nice dead shot, but Hermit trapped inside the cogs for the moment. They've changed their attention. They're going for the Muerta. They realize that Night Stalker is too damn tanky. And it's going to be just a few auto attacks before they bring down their first blood. Give it on over to El Misho of all heroes.
That was a cool idea. Usually we see double smokes happen all the time. But with the night rains, it's daytime, so you don't usually do it. But they went to where they thought the Night Stalker was going to be, and he actually only has 800 daytime vision, so he actually couldn't see the smoke break, and they were still able to make that gank happen. All right, well, I think top should mostly be a farming lane. Down here, they just got to be a little careful. If the lane pushes up a bit too far, you have to be careful of the Link plus the Clockwork preventing you from getting away.
Yeah.
But I imagine you just spam flat cannon and try to keep your distance, which is why this Clockwork's putting so much effort into blocking camps and not letting a double courier kill. It's a did it? I think it delivered its items in time, at least.
Yeah, it did. El Misho is so good on this hero. Like, he is so good at making space and just kind of pushing the hero to its limits. And that second sentry drop there onto the hard camp, like, the Tusk realized the moment he was trying to deny his own sentry after getting the unblock, and El Misho was like, this one should be out of range this time, and just replaces another. Just wastes the Tusk time. It's super frustrating. For this lane, he actually gets the Ice Armor Troll of all things, which reduces a lot of the damage that the Muerta is going to do from those auto attacks.
Up the meta, but here's the nice thing about Muerta support with the dead shot, right? Any type of aggression, you usually should be able to get away if you just knock them back. So, back to farming. Though I guess the nice thing about having meta in the early game is that Night Stalker with his Night Rains usually bullies you out with his high damage and attack speed, but pretty tough to fight at the meta, so you should at least be able to get yourself through these first few minutes.
It really looks like mid lane that I mean, just based on some of the voice lining that's going on, the Queen of Pain has been having a pretty good time. But Hector, I feel like Terrorblade should be fine in this lane. Eventually, I think when you get closer to like level 5 on some of these heroes, the magic damage is a little bit scary, and he'll have to make sure he has a rain drop, because like Void Spam plus Dead Shot is a lot of damage to deal with, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Lumpy versus Siren mid, kind of going as expected, I feel like, right? Queen of Pain slight lead, but not by much. It's almost dead even, actually, if he gets those CS under the tower. Illich, bottom side, in some trouble. Clockwork, the wraparound, will go ahead and just trap off the Tusk completely. And that's going to be a kill going the way of Illich. DM has to just walk away. Can't really fight into these two.
Yeah, I think they thought they could force something because they secured the Lotus. The Razor and Clockwork had used some spells earlier to get them low, but they thought they could turn it. But I mean, Razor with the 2 points in Plasma Field is pretty strong. It's not easy to fight into, especially with the Clockwork cogs disrupting the fight.
Yeah.
Gyro is last hitting pretty well, though. Like, just shoving the lane out with the flat cannon. Razor is not yet at the point where it's easy to link and just run at the Gyro. But it is a counter later on. It's why they went for the Razor. If later on in the fight you just follow the Gyro, you should be good.
They get the double silence here onto El Micho, or onto Moose. They do manage to finish the job. Now, like we said, Monty trying to just squeak away, but Hector finishes the job. So a bit of a 1-for-1 trade top, but they actually do manage to grab an extra kill bottom side here onto the Clockwork.
I think his courier got killed in 2, and there's a bunch on that courier. A bit unfortunate for him.
Little bottle refill here mid.
All right, the first daytime is about to come in. This is where the Night Stalker suddenly becomes a lot weaker. So maybe this is where M80 can potentially start looking to move that Enchantress around, get some plays going. Although you do have to be worried about the Queen of Pain moving around. It's the Night Reigns. It extends the time a little bit.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
Oh, it does actually extend it. I mean, did not know that.
It's so, dude, the other day, I just I'll admit it on stream, I wasn't going to. I fully realized Shadow Demon ult doesn't break until the Ags. There's so many things in Dota, man. Every hero's got like 4+ spells. Now they have 8 talents, 2 facets, innate abilities. It's so much.
Yep. He got a double damage block there underneath the tower, plus like the heal from the Lotus that just saved the Night Stalker, which I say that, and he walks forward, gets caught immediately, and dies to Reflection. And now Monty also just dying top lane there. Yeah, super greedy. They did not need... They could have just backed off and healed, but Night Stalker is one of those heroes that, like, doesn't do super well now that it's night and now that it's daytime, and they actually do a really good job at saving their cooldowns until the daytime. And I feel like this is when the lane starts to get pretty rough and things start to go really well. Oh, nice Sonic Wave. Lumpy off the mark there. He can RP under the tower. No, he's not going to. He will instead. Yes. Oh my goodness. The damage from the level 4 Shockwave sets it up, gets the kill. Now, of course, Monty grabs an exchange, but he'll take those.
Yeah, feels bad. If that dead shot connects, that's actually such a cool play. The silence into the Sonic Wave knockback into hopefully the dead shot, but actually throwing both at the same time is what ended up making the dead shot miss. And that's one of the strengths of Magnus. He's such a tanky hero at the start of the game that you really have to be on point with the lockdown or the damage so that he doesn't just skewer away. And actually ends up with a kill in that exchange. Yeah, you're pretty happy with that. Because otherwise, it's hard to get something with RP when you don't have the blink. And it was actually just delivered to him.
especially against a hero with Blink, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's like the literal best case scenario for Lumpy to get something that useful out of his first RP, because it's not a hero that can gank super easily. Like you said, without the Blink, and bottom lane, DM ends up going down there, but I guess let's just dive to
secondary
creeps.
strike.
Was that what it was?
The creeps?
Might have been secondary strike plus some creep attacks. But yeah, brought him super low.
Oh yeah, it looks like it was the creeps that finished it off. But we do see the Enchantress down there, like we were talking about.
Net worth wise, none of this seems super surprising to me. Everyone having a pretty good time. DM though, actually in a lot of trouble. Misho, nice double, triple cog push back. DM is gonna go nowhere. That is a free kill there for the Razors. Now Monty in the mid lane here. He's gonna get one more shockwave to finish off here. Bonk, very nicely done. Lumpy, very happy about that. Did make a little bit of space to do some damage to the mid tower, but this Magnus is gonna have a very quick blink dagger now.
Yeah, I think they were hoping to essentially repeat what they tried earlier, but Queen of Pain was still pushing the lane in, so just too far to help there. And it turns out when you're a support versus a mid laner, it usually doesn't go so well for you.
Meta's out on the top side. You do have level 6 on Hermit, but he's kind of low, and you know, El Misho is ready for the wraparound. If at any point they want to go for the dive, the Clockwork can very easily just join the fight, and K1 with the extra range here, plus the creeps from this Enchantress, they're getting so much damage into this tower, and they're going to go for it. They find Hermit, there's the Cogs, traps him in place, just a few auto attacks, and that's a dead Night Stalker. Beautiful patience from the side of M80.
Getting so much done in this top lane while it's just, this is the Night Stalker issue, right? You're just not very strong in the daytime, and although Night Reigns usually, the idea of Night Reigns is that you get such a strong start that while you're weak in the daytime, you can get by because of an advantage you have from earlier, but the Enchantress made sure that didn't happen.
Ooh, they actually have a lot of healthy heroes here on the side of Infamous. Sonic Wave does hit Lumpy quite a bit of damage. He doesn't have Skewer left. He's going to try and get away, but does get finished off. Even throws the RP, even though there's nobody nearby. Hoping it might save his life, but
I think there's a world where the RP hits before the Scream of Pain, and then maybe that buys enough time for K1 to get close and Sunder save, though
yeah,
maybe then your Terrorblade dies. I don't know if he wants to do that, but that's good for them, finally finding a kill on the Magnus cleanly.
Oh, they're just gonna go straight for DM here on the bottom side, or at least try to. There's gonna be the static link, rotation from the Clockwork, as well as some TPs coming through from the side of Infamous, but DM, he's just completely isolated off. 4v3 here behind the tower as Moose trapped into the Ice Shards, but he's level 6. He's not. He's going to be so difficult to kill, and now El Misho gets on top of them. Where it's another kill for Illich on this Razor. The 4 points Plasma Field doing work as they will take the tier 1 tower for their troubles.
Things are looking tough. It's already a 3K lead at 11.5 minutes, and Lumpy, I was going to say he hasn't been that active, but things keep happening around him, so he's been doing okay, and he doesn't have the blink yet. And now the blink is done at 11:40, and this is where this hero can just constantly find fights. Even without RP, you just blink, skewer back. There's really not much you can do about it if you don't already have a silence going to interrupt it.
It just forces a lot out of the heroes, right? And I think that's the issue. Like you said, you don't have to RP. You don't even have to find the kills, but if you manage to, like, that's just a bonus. But being able to just, like, blink skewer back a hero, top side, another grab here from the side of the M80. The hook shot comes out from El Misho, traps down that Night Stalker, and now he's just gonna be able to chase down Monty here. One more auto attack is all they need. Double kill for the Clockwork. As he will scout the remaining heroes from Infamous, making this wraparound. They should be able to find the kill, and they do. Finally punishing Elmisho for his aggression, but they get what they want. 2 kills, a 5-hero rotation to the top side from Infamous, and just an eternity of space for the other M80 cores.
Yeah, these supports have just been all over the map. Clockwork, Enchantress, they really don't need much. Sure, they'd love level 6, especially that Clockwork, but hasn't even really needed it. You know, they just keep wrapping around and diving the tower. They're tanky enough, or they use the Enchantress creeps to do so, and they just keep finding kills on both side lanes.
Yeah, Night Stalker's got a Midas queued up. So...
Oh, no.
The thing is like, I don't know if there's any other Night Stalker builds besides Midas, and I think that's one of the reasons this hero has been relatively dead in the meta for a while now, because Midas is just not a viable item for a lot of offlaners. But this is a hero that needs items to scale, right? Like, he is, outside of just like Blink Crippling Fear, he doesn't really do much, so you need items to be able to make Night Stalker have a little bit more impact. So I understand the Midas, but when you're 5k behind, it's gonna potentially snowball even further for M80. Hook shot. Elmisho finds another. Monty does have his level 6, but does not want to have to commit to pierce the veil. Ooh, I hear an RP. Well, that's one thing you can commit. They do pull him right up onto the high ground. Lumpy finishes him off with the shockwave. Yeah, I mean, it's not the Queen of Pain, but why not just grab a kill?
Yeah, you don't have to be too careful. We were saying earlier, you don't have to use RP on all your attempts, right? So
yeah,
if you just throw it out to get a quick kill somewhere, and because you don't have Muerta, right, they don't really... They're going to try to fight this tower. They're going to fortify it for now, but I don't really know if you can. They are going to TP in. See what they can do.
The cogs there. He like breaks all the trees that like are hidden from the TP in the mid lane.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really useful to set up for wherever you're pushing. So I love this hero so much. Clockwork has so much utility on his own. And then they flexed it, right? They picked it early. He's going to find a hookshot kill onto the gyro.
Elmisho has just been everywhere, dude. He is so good at this hero. Now, top lane, they do manage to get on top of Village. He's got a BKB, though. Going to try and run down this Tusk in the meantime. Walrus Punch is there to hold him in place for another second. It's a 1-for-1 trade. I think Infamous pretty happy about that one, especially if they can finish off the Enchantress, which... not looking super hot right now. The Queen of Pain will need another Scream here to finish the job. 4 staffs away underneath the trees. She's got him.
A missed dead shot there. Unfortunately for Monty, maybe having... It's harsh, but it is just the way Muerta works. If you're not consistently landing like 90-95% of the skill shots, this hero's impact will drop off a lot. And we've seen a couple misses throughout this game. Fortunately, that time, it doesn't quite matter. But you do see where it takes, you know, maybe like 5 seconds to kill the Enchantress, which sometimes does lead to the rotations that punish you, or gives you a ton of space bottom to take a tower and now kill off this poor Tusk once again.
Elmisho is just so good at Clockwork, man. Every single time he's off the map, it's because he's setting up for a kill. And now mid lane, Lumpy, yeah, he's like, I got you, man. You ain't getting out of this one. Fall down, does get dropped, sends him right up to the high ground down to terrible. They should be able to finish off EM one more time. Hector now unstoppable as it is 9-21 with a 7,000 gold lead for the favor of M80. These guys are crushing it this game.
Gyro saw it was a haste route, thought he could grab it and get out. Usually once you have haste, you know, you're pretty safe in this early game, but Enchantress was just in range to enchant Dispel it, and is dead as soon as that happens.
A nice fear off there from Monty.
K1's wrapping in the back, though.
Yeah, he's got a tower. He's not making out of this one, there's no way. K1 adding another hat to his hat collection.
You can't use your ult while you're channeling, right?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, maybe if he had ulted and TV'd out, maybe that could have worked. I gotta say, we usually know K1 as a extremely farm-heavy player, but he's been pretty active in this game. He's been joining a lot of these plays. Still top net worth, still a ton of farm, but also 7-0-5 for his team.
Yeah, I'm not super surprised based on how the lane went that he decided to get active early. And Terrorblade is one of those heroes that can just rotate pretty easily. And another setup here from M80. They're just gonna immediately pop the meta here from Terrorblade. Responds with Pierce the Veil, but Monty, oh my gosh, almost just dies to the illusion.
All right, the map is getting closed out. There's one more tier 2. I don't think you even need to get it now. I think they can go for Roche whenever they want. Unless there's like a specific timing they're waiting for. Scotty is about like 1,300 gold away from being done on the Terrorblade. Maybe with that you get the Aegis and you just trap them in their base till you get a kill. Or until Lumpy finds a skewer back, right? That's another strength of the hero. You eventually skewer someone out of the base to get them killed, and that gives you the strength to close out the game.
And it's double BKB now on the side of M80, and like you said, the Scotty coming out soon. I really like that Hector went a pretty stat-heavy build here. When you're up against a lot of kind of burst damage, that's pretty much all Terrorblade needs, right? Like, BKB doesn't help him a ton. It's just getting to the HP threshold to not get one shot. Oh, great blink away from Siren here in the mid lane as Lumpy off the mark with the charge as well, and Tusk gonna throw the Walrus Punch. Now they do have some heroes on the backside trying to cut them off. They will only get the Tusk for their troubles. And the RP is down. That's not a bad play from Infamous.
Does allow them to take over this part of the map, and maybe they are looking to finish off all the tier 2s. Scan on Roche, they think that's happening, but they're actually ramping in on mid. A ward should have scouted this.
I mean, M80 can just run
They're
at them, right?
hunting.
Like, they're so much stronger. Like, a hookshot is a almost death sentence to every hero. I would say the exception really just being the Queen of Pain, who can blink away. But any of these other heroes, if they get caught from a hookshot, are in so much trouble. And during all of this, K1 just pushing bottom, gets the tower down to half HP, and now Monty, he's just dead. The Eye of Scotty is online. And that's
Why
just
get a tier 2
3.
when you can get the tier 3? It's
I mean,
simply
who's gonna
better.
stop the guy?
It doesn't look like anyone's gonna stop him. What can you do into this?
Ooh, good attempt there from Lumpy, trying to find that Night Stalker, but they get themselves a full lane of racks. Now that will give them a second set of fortification, or I guess their last fortification for the side of Infamous, and mid lane's been pushed in. They've still got a catapult alive. I don't see this train stopping anytime soon. It's nighttime for the side of Infamous, which is, you know, better for them, but they're just so far behind. Lumpy comes in, gets the BKB, doesn't get the skewer. He's actually 5 seconds off of RP, maybe not realizing it was on cooldown. Hook shot in, though, finds the Queen of Pain. He'd love to get in there on this Magnus, hold them in place. Nice Sonic Wave onto 2. They're going to look for M80 to finish the job, and they will be able to do so, but there it is! The full team stuck in the RP! In comes the rest of M80 as DM crumbles under the damage. Monty's Pierce the Veil. Gonna be able to buy him a moment of space, but it's not enough. 4 heroes dead as Lumpy lines them up for them to be knocked down one after the other. M80 done it, man. I feel like this game is over.
Give it their best effort, gonna buy back. Unfortunately, this Tusk is dead before the rest of the team could even show up, or I guess just the Muerta, really. Who is now also going to die.
Yeah.
There it is, GG.
There's no way out of this. You have Aya Scotty Terrorblade. He's got the Empower from the Magnus. And, you know, the Cleave is whatever, but this is a hero with super high base damage, so he benefits a ton from this.
Yeah, so something I want to highlight here is I think the draft.
Even to actually play around the Ursa's burst damage. I feel like M80 is going to cook this off lane pretty hard.
I'm still a little bit new to Zeus 5. I think okay, maybe some of the pub players out there, you've seen it a lot. But for the pro level, Zeus 5 is still relatively new. So that's kind of my question mark. What can he do in this lane? It's not the crowd control, but maybe he just does enough damage, right? Especially Phoenix, who gets relatively low by nature of using the spells. Maybe Zeus is enough to then finish that off. That's kind of I hope it works out for Infamous that way. Otherwise, like you said, seems really tough in that lane. This time, no Night Rain, so we see all the smokes coming out, but no one's connected quite yet.
They're actually already blocking the camps, as you can see on the Enchantress. She's gone all the way back, placed a deep observer, and now sentry blocked the camps as well, knowing that no single observer or no single sentry can grab both wards. So, pretty good movement there. They know Hermit has to go the Axe build, right? So
yeah, we were saying that, and that's why I find it a very interesting choice. You don't really need that ward, right? Like that's not going to help you in the lane in the usual sense, with that lane being blocked. But now, even as they unblock that camp, if you can see them going to stack, you can immediately look to play really aggressive and try to punish that Beastmaster. So it's a really interesting idea. We'll see if it pays off. Because if they don't, like you don't go to stack, then that ward does nothing for the laning stage.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think they're going to have no choice but to stack because Enchantress PA is going to be doing way too much damage and kind of forcing them back.
He still went boars.
He's still... I mean, we'll see what happens. I think you have to go... Like, this hero is so much worse without 4 points in the summons. So
I mean, yeah, I guess he'll use the boars to stack, but I don't know, seems tough. Moose sees the boar, he's like, okay, I'm ready to take enchant if I get close.
Bottom lane, they did an aggressive block with the Marcy, so the wave is going to immediately push, and I think she's just going to block the pole camp as well. So she's in a pretty decent spot again. Top lane, Hermit already starting to fall low here.
At least against a PA, they've already bought the sticks because they know they're going to get so many charges, so that will help deal with some of this harass.
Yeah.
And allow you to spam back your own summons and potentially axes. We'll see what he gets at level 2.
Ooh, Illich is dead. Wow, they get the level 2 timing and they just immediately turn it on, and that's one of the downsides of going for this aggressive block is you will definitely not have the level advantage. They did not respect it on Infamous.
Dude,
or I guess against Infamous.
Zeus 5 Ursa lane, so playable. So good for Phoenix Marcy. No, yeah, really good capitalizing on that window. We'll see if it continues that way. For now, they're punishing this Ursa while Zeus went to go unblock the camp. Should live, but that has a lot of health down.
Yeah, I was gonna say they, in this lane as the Ursa Marcy, they can slow roll it. They don't have to play super aggressive because they definitely win this kind of war of attrition of just Phoenix being an absolute lane dominator. But and then if someone gets out of position, you have a Marcy there to punish. So I was a little bit surprised that they get caught off at level 1, but I think now that you have level 2. Especially as you get to level 2 spirits, like the level 3 on the Phoenix, I think it should end up going quite well for them.
Yeah, it was also the commitment of Zeus's mangoes. We now enter this weird period where, sure, your spells do a lot, but can you actually use your spells as a Zeus 5? He's bought a Bassi, but it takes time, you know? So it will be a bit of a weak period, and we'll see if as he gets mana, it bounces back, but it looks like the Lotus is going to get secured by M80, at least in that bottom lane. Top, maybe a click war coming up here.
Looks like it went to Moose. Yep.
Too fast.
Those experienced support fingers of his. Too good at clicking the Lotuses.
The Enchantress position 5 players, which I swear at a pro level, just about all of them can do it. You gotta fast fingers for that micro. It's not like the old CM just sit in the back, slow gameplay, warlock channeling. Position 5's got a lot of micro now. How's mid going? Looks relatively even. It's pretty tough to kill each other. They're both just two tanky rock boys. But usually where we see things mix up is that Earth Spirit can rotate way sooner than Tiny can. So as we get close to some of the power runes, we'll see if that comes into play, or if maybe Enchantress decides to come mid, because Tiny has no real escape. Oh, and actually it looks like she might... Oh, they're going on the Tiny. Enchantress is here.
Nice toss away. Blood grenade. Do they have the enchant? They're going to try, but instead, in comes Monty. He does get the heal off just in time. Will allow him to survive, but ends up being quite nice for Siren. They get a lot of damage into these heroes. He survives the gank and still gets a water rune. He's really trying for a toss back.
She has enough mana for it. Oh!
Yeah, he gets the block anyway, though, and now Lumpy, he's got one tree toss.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does work out. I don't know. I don't know what's happening to Monty. That is a painful courier to lose. You really need phase boots on Ursa.
Well, because of the commitment in mid, the side lanes left alone. They both end up dying here. And this is kind of what I was afraid of. I feel like the lanes are stronger on M80. So even though they had that little hiccup at level 1, they're looking really good now. Hector's going to lose his courier, but did manage to get his treads delivered.
Poor couriers all over the map. We see some supports maybe moving over early for that 6-minute rune we were talking about. Tiny is pretty low. Stun connects.
I think they got him off of a rebound. Yeah, they definitely do. And now in comes the Zeus. You just be careful. He's going to get disposed right back into the hands. Their Spirit put a really nice leap up onto the high ground. This is just before the 6-minute mark, so they're playing this to look for that power rune. The Tiny will not be available to contest it, so really good movements there from M80.
Ooh, a haste rune. That's definitely
going to
gonna
immediately pop it.
He's
He's going to get level 6. Oh, you just tossed your Zeus to his death? Just ulti him, right? Surely.
Well, Muerta's here.
Hey, he can continue the roll. He just got to keep these stones active. Does find it. Gets the boulder kick as well. Now looking to just keep this magnetize onto this Muerta, but it will finally expire.
Maybe they didn't know what rune that was, because I think actually any other rune, maybe that works out with the surprise from the Muerta. But Hasty just immediately gets out of there and kills Zeus and kills Monty.
He's got to be careful. Oh, well.
Raindrops.
Raindrops will save him. Gets tossed away. And now TP's off the other side. He's safe. Another kill in the bottom lane onto El Micho. Or from El Micho onto DM. So Ursa really struggling in the bottom lane now, as we can see. And top lane, the stolen boar. Going to cause so many problems here for Hermit.
I liked the draft a little bit more in the opener, but it feels like as we get through this early game, kind of the same thing's happening as last time. M80 is starting to pull this lead, really fast gameplay from the supports. Again, with just strong lane matchups. 3K lead now at 7.5 minutes. That is pretty rough.
Ooh, Phoenix is not going to go the earned vessel. He's just going to go straight into the Veil after double bracer. So a lot of regen stacked up on this hero as a result, and I hadn't really considered that. I thought like the earn would be like a way to give yourself the extra regen, but now you're just super tanky. So I kind of like this idea. 8 minutes happen here. We're going to see a big rotation into mid. The scan, of course, going to connect, rolls on through, does barely miss Tyron, but they will find the Zeus. The rest of the heroes will finish them off. The kill go in the way of Illich, and they will find themselves a regen rune pop. Steiner with the TP to safety. As Lumpy
it's not just
bottle up the regen.
It's not just tankiness on the Phoenix, actually, but the Veil is so good with Magnetize, right?
Yeah.
The other heroes maybe don't have the most spell damage, but I'd say Phoenix and Earth Spirit probably warranted on just their own. So
Yeah, more than enough.
Yeah, we don't see the pipes as
so
early on Beastmaster, but you might need to do it this game. But
They've
you're
got
dying again.
falling. Yeah, the dive is just so easy from M80. How do you stop the Illich with the dive in? Does get caught from the fear, but he can just egg this if he even needs to, and it doesn't look like it's necessary. They finish off Monty. 2 heroes dead as Lumpy pops the regen. It's going to TP right back to mid. He's chilling.
They barely missed anything for that. Ursa got a little bit of space, but Ursa's unfortunately not really the fastest farmer. You want a good lane, get kills to speed up your farm to the Battle Fury. This is where we start reaching the point we were talking about. He is going to get to the Battle Fury later than the PA, right? He's eventually going to need BKB, going to need an MKB, going to need a Blink. This is a lot of stuff. And he's starting on the back foot here.
Immediate magnetize out in mid lane. Can he keep it running? He can. Does get the connection on over to Monty as well. He's thinking about going for the dive here. Does miss the roll and actually lets the magnetize end as a result. So for that, Infamous should be able to get away here. You have a lot of damage coming in on just the tower here, thanks to the Troll Summoner.
I think they gotta nerf that. Maybe they don't. I kind of like it, but it does just seem crazy when Enchantress or Chen gets a troll. It's like, my towers, they're gone.
I think you can nerf Enchantress slightly instead of nerfing the creep, right?
I guess that's fair.
Like, I think if you wanted to nerf that aspect, you just nerf like the enchant bonuses or something, but could be a free kill. She's not quite level 6 yet, so Siren will clean that one up. Nicely done. Roll in though. Lumpy, he's got an arcane running El Micho. Had his eyes set on the Tiny, will go ahead and just turn his attention on all over to Monty. Finish that one off. So I gotta use this Unleash, man. I pressed the button.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They're so far ahead now. 5,000 gold advantage. They're gonna fortify this mid lane here.
Do you think Illich will go straight Shiva since he got the Veil?
I think he actually can, to be honest. I think it's not a bad idea. 5 seconds for the Magnetize. Looking for Siren here. Nice avalanche, but the chase continues. Lumpy on the tail end of this arcane rune. Just gonna set this one up. Actually misses the Magnetize, but
it was a show of power.
Yeah,
they
it
don't
was
even need it.
It's alright. Reduce cooldown. He had the arcane rune running. They get the tower. They get a kill onto the Tiny. Still space being made as the Phantom Assassin just chilling in the jungle. I don't see how the Ursa catches her anytime soon.
You need kills to make that happen, and well, I guess a Blink on Tiny could maybe find some stuff, but he's only at 850 gold right now, so it's gonna take quite a while.
You know, I hadn't even looked at it. The facet for Hector, it's Veiled One, right?
Oh yeah.
He did go Veiled One. I think it's better against Beastmaster. It's super difficult for Beastmaster to play against this hero with the Veiled One facet. I think a lot of other people like Methodical, I think in most games, but specifically in these matchups, it makes a lot of sense. Like, you actually will never find this Phantom Assassin. Lumpy with the blade mail done, willing to play super aggressive if necessary. Mid on the top side, he jumps in, gets the magnetized connect on to 2. The roar's there, but not really going to do a whole lot as Siren now left alone under the tower. The magnetized continue rolling here as K1 jumps in here. Decent chunk of damage. There's just no follow-up, and now Monty burns as well. Triple kill for Lumpy.
This is where, if you had the Blink on the Tiny and he was having a better game, even if PA is doing well, you can find something because PA builds the Battle Fury. She ends up very squishy, right? But he's also struggling. Like, everyone across the board is struggling, and there's just not really a good way to start these fights. So they're just getting run down. And it's up to M80 when they want to begin. Off the roll, which you don't need the blink for, or Marcy rebound. They have much better ways to start things. Or you can't find anyone, you just run in with the Enchantress creep. Just tank towers and take it. Looks like Illich is gonna go straight for Shivas, which is a pretty baller build. But it's cool because it further amps up the damage. It gives you more vision, and the slow is very nice versus this Ursa. We were already talking about his game is tough, and now he's gonna fight into a Shiva's aura.
Yeah. I think the Shivas, there's just no reason not to finish it this game. Another jump here on the top side, Hermit, just gonna get taken down super easily there.
I think maybe the only other thing I could think you could get is either Refresher if you want to be like a super baller, or maybe like Yules could be good to control the Ursa, but when you're this far ahead, you don't really need it.
Another jump in here from Lumpy, pops the Magnetize, has an amplified damage. The Hurricane pulls him back. Dude, he's just getting slapped. He ends up somehow losing the Magnetize stack, but it's fine. They still managed to finish the job.
Oh, they're immediately going to go for Ursa.
He has to enrage right away, but he knows there's no chance of him surviving this one. He does not have a way of piercing the evasion. And K1 will get himself his third kill of the game. 3-0 and 2, a much more quiet game from him as opposed to the Terrorblade, but I mean, look at the net worth, right? 3,500 in front of the Ursa. Top side, looking for the Phoenix. If you don't burst him, he has the egg, and just dive away. So they should just sacrifice El Misho here. I'm sure eventually, right? They do have a Hurricane to maybe buy him some space. Yeah, very cool play there between Moose and El Misho. He's out.
Not that it's the only problem, but that's I think with that Deadshot connecting, Siren could probably get close enough to finish it. There's been a couple misses on it. Where I think it gets to the point, you know, maybe a different hero would have been better. Where's Beastmaster at? His Ags is done in about 200 gold. Man, that's rough, right? At the start of this patch, we would talk about Beastmaster, this foolproof hero. No matter what happens, Arcane Ags by like 14 minutes. Earth's gonna get killed again over here. But he's been having such a rough time. They put so much pressure on him. It's gonna be 17-ish minutes by the time this Arcane Ags comes out. And it's not even as good as it used to be.
They're just not done. They can just run for anybody. Lumpy's thinking of rolling in, but I guess we'll give it up. Here is bottom lane, a tier 2 tower about to go down. K1 with the Sanj and Yasha completed. Now gonna go for the BKB. Can't really blame him. Top lane, they're looking for the Phoenix here, smoked up. The ward gets placed, but the boar is there. He has to know something's up.
I'm not convinced.
Shivas is done too, though. Yeah,
I don't
they
think they
kill
could
this guy?
kill him. I don't think you can kill him before he uses egg. Prove me wrong here. Okay, Tiny's here
Avalanche,
actually.
Toss.
Slow they are.
Okay.
Barely.
Really good spell layering. They got him.
All right, that's really good. At first, Tiny wasn't there, which is why I thought they couldn't do it. But that's the best find you could get with the blink. I don't think you could kill the other heroes.
Oh my god. The kick would hit the creep instead, but it just barely touched the Zeus. Yeah, Lumpy beyond godlike here. 11, 1, and 5. He's
Ooh,
having
Hector?
a incredible game.
Oh no, Infamous really needed that kill. He barely TP'd out with just like 100 health.
Dude, the Sanj and Yasha Earth Spirit is kind of sick. Because if you think about it, he's just getting he's running around with just Moose and El Misho, so he's getting like drums plus the sidekick. Or maybe it's not sidekick, he has the bodyguard, I think, this game, right? Or something like that. But either way, it's still a lot of damage that this Earth Spirit gets, and he's getting a ton of auto attacks off.
I also think the status resistance is kind of nice. Like, there's not that many forms of crowd control here. Looks like poor Zeus getting found again. I think he was looking for ward.
Well, he became a ward
For a moment.
Mid lane, Lumpy has the shield rune running, so he's just trying to force something. Now, is that an Aghanim Scepter on Hermit? It looks like, right? So,
Radiant's middle tower
Drums
is
of Slom potentially online.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, but it's so late that the Sant and Yasha's already done on the PA, you know? If this finishes faster, you're finding PA with, you know, like 1,200 health. Now she's at 1,700 health. It's not getting easy. They will at least get themselves the Roche, so that's quite nice. This
They have
game
a ward,
will...
though.
Stun gonna connect?
Oh, no.
This game will go on longer, not only because, you know, that Aegis helps out, but you don't have as much tower pressure from M80 as you did last game, especially with the Terrorblade. But you have heroes that are really good at fighting. Roar on the Lumpy
Nice
for the roll.
ward. They do have so much damage. He's gonna try and pop the Blade Mail, do some back here to DM, but didn't have Magnetize, and now here comes the rest of M80. Quick kill there for K1, takes down the Zeus, looking for Monty now, Dispose pulls him back, K1 wants to go in, but the Avalanche, the calling, it's too much at the moment, and they'll get themselves a second kill. El Misho will be the third. In comes the Phoenix, though. Phantom Assassin's here. They've got all the damage they need. Toss to make a little bit of space. Siren trying to get away here. Should be able to. Super tanky Tiny. They kind of even it out, but overall, really good fight there from Infamous.
They were desperately in need of something like that. I think they got about 3,000 gold for that. Yeah, very much needed. Unfortunately, still 13k behind, which shows the state of the game, though also kind of makes that fight even more impressive to show how hard the game is. But that was a little bit of a one at a time from M80, right? Like, first the Earth Spirit dies, then the Enchantress, and then the remaining 3 come in versus 4-ish heroes, and it still sort of works out. Ooh, but maybe you can find the PA?
That's a pretty big mistake from K1. Farming in the wave, not having the blur on would have prevented him from getting caught.
Too.
Yeah. Rolling on the backside. Great calling out from Monty. The roar there as well. Egg dropped on top, so they will be getting a ton of damage out from the Phoenix. He actually survives. Lumpy gets out. Oh my goodness. Illich on the Phoenix. The first egg of the game that we've seen, but it gets some serious work done. DM on the Ursa. He's online.
Yeah, they got split up there. Tiny and Ursa were chasing an Enchantress, and it just... Oh, he does find the Earth Spirit. Okay, you need something like that. They're starting to pull this one back.
That whole first fight, the reason it works for them is because, you know, we saw them go for that attempted kill at Roche where they all team beat top. But Earth Spirit was just for sure a lone bottom, right, on that previous fight. So that's why they felt confident going for that play, and it paid off big.
Okay, M80, I think after 2 fights now where they've gone a bit one at a time, you know, PA dies and they're like, I think we're strong enough, 4 of us can still fight 5 of them. It's, you know, sort of true, but I don't think you should be giving... Like, you can't even give even fights. When you're this far ahead, an even fight is very good for the losing team.
Absolutely.
So I think M80 needs to be a little bit more disciplined in approaching the fights together. They're trying to min-max a little bit too much, you know, like, oh, 4 of us can fight while 1 guy farms, we'll win the fight while still farming. But in theory, it can work, but it is just tricky versus Roar and Avalanche tossback, you know, like some hero just gets deleted and it changes the equation.
Oh. Uh-oh, Moose.
Never mind, he's fine.
Yeah, that Sentry just paid dividends. Finds Ward and Sentry there.
I gotta say, I was worried about Ursa being able to address all the problems, but he is at the Blink BKB Battle Fury, and he's got the MKB queued up, so I don't think this game will end before the MKB is done, and that means he has the tools to answer everything we were talking about.
With a double blink initiation like this, it's very easy for them to find their pickoff. So if you're on M80 now, you need to be very careful to not give these kills away. And that first Aegis, they get so much out of it. It's about to expire, I think, like 15 seconds away now, but in a game where they were like 15,000 behind, they brought it down to 10, which is still a pretty big difference, but the Ursa's game is completely recovered.
Especially because a 15k lead at 15 minutes is so different than a 10k lead at 24 minutes. And that like, even if you just maintain this gold lead, a 10k difference at 30 minutes, 35 minutes, right, that is starting to become less and less meaningful.
Absolutely. I like the Yule's pickup on Illich right now. I think that's a super sick pick. Helps buy you some time against the Ursas and Rage, but also might bail you out if you get silenced.
Oh, does he not see him?
Nah, just right on the other side of the tree. You find the Zeus though, to dive in to the Yules, give them a free kill.
I guess so. That is one nice thing about the Zeus. It made the lane a bit difficult once the matchups came out, but his ability to remove wards has made it difficult for M80 to fully capitalize on their huge advantage. I say as they just dive this tier 3.
They just come right in, and Herman, he pops the roar and the BKB. The Black doing some work, but K1, his own BKB, just continuing to chase him. Can they kick the Tiny back? They can. Siren's got no way out. 4 dead. The Zeus gonna be respawning, but M80 just dive with no regard for Infamous to respond. It pays off.
Enchantress simply walked up and found people. I can't believe that worked. They just sent the Enchantress in like that. I guess they knew Ursa didn't have a TP, so he wouldn't be able to join. But once again, in explosive fashion, M80 just breaks the tier 3 high ground, and Ursa's still not here. They still have to wait for the rest of the court heroes to respawn before they can even fight.
You don't have BKB on K1, but Marcy, she pops the Unleashed. Like these buildings are gonna go down so fast. Thunder God's Wrath maybe combined with a dead shot, you could find a kill, but no. They just back away. They get themselves a lane and a half of racks. They don't get the melee, but I think they are pretty damn happy with how that played out. Back up to a 15,000 gold lead. And full control of the map. Now the Ursa needs to be careful as the top side of the map. He is alone. He will TP home.
Tell me, Show. He at least gets to see that Ursa's out, so they can now plan accordingly. But after kicking that Ursa out, it should get you the next Roche. Right, they're already in a great position. Two lanes. Mid, the melee's still there, but the range is enough to keep that lane pushing in for you.
Versus MKB died on Courier.
Oh no. How long is that? 2.5 minutes? Okay, he didn't actually buy the component yet though, I think.
He lost the recipe and stuff on it.
Oh, okay. He's still
like,
missing 1,000 gold from the Demon Edge. So I thought, okay, maybe he could just at least buy the Demon Edge, but okay, still gotta wait 2 minutes for that, I guess. Which should mean the Roche will go over to M80.
The last outer tower. This will open up the whole map, and yeah, I think if they do this correctly, well, especially since Lumpy just ulted, I think you definitely don't want to fight now in M80. You want to wait for the Roshan. Well, I say that. K1 just jumps in, hits the Abyssal Blade, shot the BKB and the egg are down. They just delete the Tiny. Dude, are they calling Infamous's bluff? Like, they just think the Ursa's looking for Roshan and they just know?
Well, yeah, they do now because they just cut that top wave.
Yeah.
This almost really worked out. This is where there's a little bit of luck in Dota. It was a fast spawn, but not quite fast enough. So they had to wait for it a little bit, and that's where M80 manages to find that kill in the mid lane. But if it had been a bit of a faster Roche, they could have just sniped it and then gotten back to high ground defense. Unfortunately, now they're too scared to go for it, so you lose mid and you don't even get the Roche trade-off for it. To be fair to them, though, it looks a little silly, like, oh, why aren't they defending their base? But when you're in this tough of a spot, you kind of do need to go for these extreme plays and hope they work out to have a chance to come back. If you just play standard versus in the base waiting to defend, right, then M80's just not going to push it. They're going to wait for Roche. They're going to get it. They're going to come up. You know, they're going to come with that 20k lead. It's not going to be better for you. Getting some revenge here. Kills K1's courier.
I did not realize you could throw Hath to Roshan. That's kind of neat. Roshan's banner should help make this push even easier for the side of M80 now. Alright, looks like Ursa's MKB is coming out now. Oh no, it's still 10 seconds away. Oh my goodness.
Should be okay. They should be able to fight the high ground a bit.
Oh, Blink Abyssal, the quick kill. Almost Monty gets the Pierce the Veil off. Rolling on the backside, Lumpy. Gonna get a 5-hero magnetized. That's difficult. And the egg right on top. Now DM does that to finish off one kill. The magnetize is still rolling into the fountain.
It's
they
so
can't get away from this. The damage is holding them at bay. They will survive. But my goodness, the base, it's crumbling.
They can't leave their base. They can't even salve to heal faster. The magnetize takes so long. They just lost their racks because of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a game-winning magnetize.
Absolutely. In comes Hector, deletes 2 heroes, pops the BKB. Ursa is dead on the front line. The GG is out at M80. A very clean 2-0 here to start the qualifiers.
Another uphill climb for Infamous, but I think this game was